Good morning, Carbinis. RJ back with another video, so let's get to it. Today's random Mike Schmidt item of the day: a little mini 3-inch diameter plate dedicated to Mike Schmidt. Various images of him fielding, batting, and whatnot. A nice little portrait there. On the back, it says "Power at the Plate." Quite the ha 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 little play on words there. An original painting by Christopher Peluso, and it says it was approved by Mike Schmidt, manufactured by, it looks like Gorshin, Gortion, USA, copyright 1987. Just one of the several plates of various sizes I have in my Mike Schmidt collection. Today's random baseball item of the day. I don't get out much anymore, but I did like to play golf years ago. So I'd started getting a little collection of logo golf balls, and this one happens to be an old Baltimore Orioles logo golf ball. Wilson 90, the original Ultra DPS3 model. Again, these are the kind of things I just picked up, and I still got lying around on the shelves. Nothing to do with them. I think every once in a while about getting a whole golf ball display in all 30 major league teams, because they all sell logo golf balls in their team stores. I mean, they just do. So I thought about that, but haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. Someday I might. I think it'll be a cool display piece. Today's trivia question. Sticking with it's the last week of February. In fact, I actually think March 1st is on Friday. So last week of February, still all about free agent and spring training signings to me in the questions. This week, I figured I'd take a little bit of an odd turn and say, okay, how about first-year managers? What managers made such an impact on their team that the team wasn't very good before this guy became manager? And once this guy became manager, that made the team a World Series winner. So let's start in this one. 1924. The Washington Senators won their first World Series. And this individual had never been a manager before, but the owner, Clark Griffith, made this person the manager of that team. And he led them to the World Series and led them to a victory over the New York Giants. This person went on to become a Hall of Fame quality manager. Who is that person? What you're playing for is a 1969 Reggie Jackson rookie card. This is a reprint. It is from the 2017 Topps Now and Then issue. It was an insert. More than all, it was an advertising piece for how great baseball cards are. But this is a reprint of the Reggie Jackson rookie. Thought that was pretty cool. So that is what you're shooting for. If you can answer that question, send me an email. I will include my email in the description below, along with the repeat of the question. You will have today and tomorrow to answer, and we will pick a winner on Sunday, all right? Good luck to everybody on that. So today, very simple thing to show off. I'm a big set collector, obviously. RJ collects sets. I collect every baseball set I can get in a reasonable price with a reasonable purpose. I don't go out of my way to get minor league sets. I could probably get every minor league set that's made these days for $5 a pop, but it's not where I want to spend my money. But where I do like to spend my money is on card sets that highlight the greats of the game in some manner. And one of the greatest sets that did that were the Pacific sets of the late 1990s. The late 1980s and early into the 1990s. Pacific put out Legends of Baseball set. Fantastic sets for the player, the players included. Fantastic set. The artwork and the card design leaves a lot to be imagined, and the sets are not very popular with collectors. That's why they're so very inexpensive. That's another reason why I like to get those sets. They're cheap, easily had, but they contain the greats of the game. Another similar release at the same time was from a company called Swell. They put out something called the Swell Baseball Greats, and I had the 1990 or 1989 one. What I didn't have until recently is the 1990 version. So this is the full set. There are 135 cards. I'm going to put up the list right here. I'm going to pause there so you can see all the individuals that were included in this set. So if you're a player collector and you don't have it already, you know you can get one of these. I think the whole set was less than 20 bucks. A lot of these sets, I think what's great about them is some of the things you see are players, I mean, big name players. You can see as I'm going through, I'm not going to name the names. You could read it and you can see it. Sometimes you'll get legendary players in odd uniforms, because that's what one of the things that this company did, as well as Pacific did. It used pictures. Here's a great example. Robin Roberts, Hall of Fame pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies, in a Chicago Cubs uniform. And if you look on the back, you'll see that he played a few games in 1966 for the Cubs. How often are you going to see a card of Robin Roberts in a Chicago Cubs uniform? But that's the cool photographs you get in these sets. Odd pictures, and again, still some of the greats of the game, but odd pictures of very big name players in weird uniforms you weren't used to seeing. That's another reason I love these sets so darn much. George Bamberger, manager, here he's pictured as manager of the Brewers. But again, it's San Francisco. Steve Stone, who I remember very well being a pitcher for the Orioles, and then I learned that he had, pitched for a whole bunch of other teams over his career, and he was actually with the Orioles late in his career, but that's when I started collecting, is when he was with the Orioles by that time. But yeah, so Harry Walker as a manager here, I know he was a Philly at one time. And you get this too, some players you barely ever heard of. Daron Johnson from the Phillies. Now, I knew Daron Johnson was a Philly because I have some of his older cards from the Phillies, but boy, did he have a storied career. All these different teams. The backs are interesting because really the only stats you get are lifetime stats, and you get a little bio about some of the person's greatest accomplishments. That's what you'll get. So Daron Johnson apparently was on the A's in 73 and 74 when they went to the World Series. 73 at least he was there, because 74 he got traded to the, check that out. Okay, so in 74, if you look at his list, he started Oakland in 74, but got traded to the Brewers, and before the season was over, he was with the Red Sox. So little-known players also pop up in this one, in this set. Like I said, which is another reason I like it so much. I'm such a baseball historian. Here's a great picture of Casey Stengel on the Brooklyn Dodgers as a player. I'm such a student of the history of the game. Larry Doby as a coach for the Cleveland Indians. Again, I'm such a fan of the history of the game. I love collecting card sets like this for that reason. The ability to get all kinds of information on these older players or these little-known players that you forgot about, and perhaps maybe even didn't know about. And you can flip through these cards and just be taken back to those great years. I love Bobby Grich on the Orioles. And it's just for such little money, for under 20 bucks to get a set of 135 cards, which includes, you've seen already, it had Hank Aaron, had Lou Gehrig. I'm passing Hall of Famers every single flip practically. And then still you get a guy like Johnny LeMaster, who makes his way into this set. So it is such a fantastic set. This is about the last one I needed. There you go, Frank Torre on the Phillies. Joe's older brother, Frank, played for the Phillies for 2 years. Frank Torre on the Phillies. I don't know why more people don't love these sets. I think again there was 3 Pacific Legend sets. They put one out in one. They put out 2, first and second series in 1989, and then they put one out in 1990. I don't think they ever did another Legends set like that. They had other, Pacific did other card sets in the early 1990s, mid to 1990s, and Swell only did these 2. So this is about the end of these baseball great sets that averaged about 130 cards in them. The two in 1989 and 1990. That was pretty much the extent of these particular style of sets. Although several of the major manufacturers began kicking out sets like this later on. Obviously, the Ted Williams Card Company came out in 1993 and 1994. Here you go. Check this one out. Satchel Paige. Satchel Paige looking really old. I'm assuming here he was a coach for the Atlanta Braves at the time. I mean, where else are you going to get a picture? Where else are you going to have a photo in your collection on a card, a Satchel Paige looking like this in a Braves uniform? I'm trying to see where it says if he was a coach on the, it doesn't even explain the picture. Just has him on there. He had to have been a coach, That's the only thing I can say. He had to have been a coach with the Braves. So, these cards really should be much more appreciated. You're not going to get the best photo. That's like a kind of a blurred photo of Gibson there. You're not going to get great photos, but you do get unique photos. Very unique photos. Kind of a really blurred image. This is Teddy Ballgame. That patch is from 1939, so this is Ted's rookie year. Very young looking Ted Williams. Where else are you going to get these great boys? Vern Rule just looks so happy. Where else are you going to get this great stuff? There's Joe Torre, really young looking Joe Torre. So that's it. That is what I'm showing off today. I hope you enjoyed that. I wish everybody loved these cards as much as I did. I wish sets like this were the norm. Certainly, we're always going to have modern cards with the current players. That's what everybody wants. But there's a lot of sets that came out in the 1990s, 2000s, and still a few today where what you get is the mix of veterans and current stars. But the ones that just highlight greats of the past, like I said, the Ted Williams Card Company, 1993, 94. And then some of the Upper Deck Legends of Baseball sets that came out in the late 90s, early 2000s were great. Fleer Greats of the Game is an awesome sets that I have a couple of. This is the kind of stuff that really excites me, and I'm happy to add this one to my collection now. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed that little showcase. If you did, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, and all that jazz. I really do appreciate it. Check out this past Friday's video. I did my 400 subscriber release, my contest. Check that out. I hope to see a lot of people entering that. It's still early. But hope for all the best of that. I appreciate you watching. Come back again on Wednesday for more. Take care.